Okay, so this is actually our second attempt at playing Ratchet and Clank. We tried to play it last week, and I was playing the PS2 version of the game on a PS3, and I had my first ever PS2 compatibility issue on my PS3. It's always worked in the past. So we're now playing the PS3 remaster of the game instead. So I have seen the first 20 minutes of the game. I am going to give it a full hour here. That's it. Yeah, it was really, really bad. I tried doing this on the PS2 with an AV to HDMI converter, but it was pretty awful. It's a trick to pour water down people's pants. That's exactly what it is. Correct. Oh, it is widescreen. Not to ask. It looks pretty close to the PS2 version. So the only problems with it are that it's got some glitches later in the game. It's quite a bit louder than the PS2 version. Let me turn it down a hair here. If that helps. As any prank. Oh, the pre-rendered cutscenes are 4:3. That makes sense, because they didn't redo them. Some graphics things are off.
Final step, attach robotic ignition system. Thank you for using help desk technology.
It's not anywhere near as bad as, like, 10 frames per second for most of the game, right? I think last time we learned that Tom Kenny is the voice of Clank. James Arnold Taylor is the voice of Ratchet. I also learned last time, just trying to repeat some of the cool blind playthrough stuff we discussed in our last attempt to play this, that this game is like the spiritual successor to Spyro, in the sense that after Spyro 3, Insomniac lost the rights to the series, and this was their next game. But I was always curious, like, why did Spyro start to suck after Spyro 3? Thank you for writing it out, Dieter. I appreciate it. I remember the first time I met Dieter's dad, I trusted him implicitly, and it was very, very quickly that my trust for him was totally eroded. I assume that every conversation is a potential trick. He's a funny guy, though. I really like Dieter and his dad. Dad sounds exactly like Jeff Bridges. Cutscenes running better as well. So the fact that this game ran in 60 FPS on the PS2 was a big deal, because I feel like Spyro did not run 60 FPS. Oh wow, yeah, this is
Welcome to the Gadgetron Help
way
Desk.
better.
We are here to offer you advice during your
Way better.
travels. The Help Desk is a free service provided by Gadgetron Corporation.
Wow, yeah, I should load part of that 20-minute VOD when the game was just slowing to a crawl every time we killed something. That feels much nicer. I feel like the colors are a little more muted. Was this 2012? That should have been at the end of the brown and bloom phase. (2002) was right at the start of it, though, so. Pizza sounds amazing.
You can interrupt help desk message.
I'll do that now. Thanks for the hot tip. I really should get Andrea to play this. She'll probably play that PS2 copy on her PS2.
Gadgetron's OmniRange.
R1 to crouch. Ah, that's cute.
Activated. Use the audio. And then press the square button.
Didn't know I had that capability. That's neat.
That's nanotech. Whenever you sustain Gadgetron's patented nanotech system will your nano.
What's the, there's a character-in-character game where, so not Ratchet and Clank, There's a game where like the protagonist of the game doesn't speak in the very first entry and then speaks after that, kind of like Dead Space and Dead Space 2. I thought it was like a kid's game, or maybe it started as a kid's game. Quote-unquote kids game. Jak and Daxter, interesting. Has it basically been since the first one that he's spoken after that? Yes. Yeah, I remember that very well, Dieter. We went to PAX. His dad lives in Seattle. We stayed with him, and he texted us on the plane to say, like, hey, I just want to let you guys know, I know you're going to be having fun at your video game convention, but we've got a vegetable judging competition, and I'd really like you to come. And this is, like, when I was really bad about, like, never telling anybody if I wasn't going to have a good time and opting out of stuff. So I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Kim, yeah, let's do that. He's like, I'm just kidding. Oh my god. First one's the only one where he didn't speak. I do like that as it's kind of a cool gaming trope. These guys were way easier on the PS2 version because I had the Binding of Isaac slowdown effect where the frame rate was so slow it was impossible for these guys to hit me. Oh, is it still too loud? Wow, I've got it at minus 14 decibels. It's the lowest I've ever turned it. Let me know if that helps. It's really quiet now. Thanks, Prop. It's still popping in the yellow. Try minus 20 decibels. Is Jak 2 brutally hard because it's like a bad game? Is it like NES hard? Or is it just the design is difficult? Bad design to me is that bridge level in Crash Bandicoot, where you have to run forward through the stage. All the jumps are pixel perfect. It's Tom Kenny, Abner Double Deal, SpongeBob, Spyro, the announcer guy from Final Fantasy X.
You're quite handy with your wrench.
You bet. I built that ship with it.
Currently, I'm in search of someone who could be of assistance in saving the
I never played any of the Jak and Daxter games.
Do you know where I might find that fellow?
Well, he's on the
Heard they're
radio
quite good.
every week. Other than that, no. Hey, what's with all this save the solar system stuff anyway?
Hello, citizens of... My race, the Blog, have a small problem. Our planet has become so polluted, overpopulated, and poisonous that we are no longer able to dwell here. But I, Chairman Drek, have a solution. We are constructing a pristine new world using the choicest planetary components available.
Yeah,
So,
right on.
what does this mean to you, you might ask? Using
Really?
highly
Why is that,
sophisticated
Namaku?
technology, which
Is the first Jak and Daxter a PS2 game or PS1 game?
we will be extracting a large portion of your planet and adding it to our new.
I haven't played Sly either. Wow.
Fortunately, this change in mass will cause your planet to spin out of control and drift into the sun, where it will explode into a flaming ball of gas. But, of course, sacrifices must be made. Thank you for your cooperation. And if you don't like it, you can take your whiny, sniveling, snot-nosed populations, form a line behind me, and kiss my... We're still on? Well, turn it off, you idiot!
They did a PS3 collection as well. Right on. What are the Sly
Those
games?
planets are hosed. Well, good luck getting Captain Quark to help you.
Actually, you could help me. If you could use your ship to take me to the coordinates contained in this infobot, I might be able to gather further information there.
Even if I wanted to, I can't. I'm missing a crucial component of the ship.
The robotic ignition system.
How did you know that?
I, sir, happen to be equipped with the latest in
That's
robotic
cool.
ignition systems. My programming allows me to start any ship I choose.
So, I agree to take you to this, wherever it is, and you get my ship started for me?
That is what I'm proposing.
Are all of the Ratchet and Clank, Sly, and Jak and Daxter games E for everyone? Also, was the Ratchet and Clank movie any good? Did anyone see it?
This could be a problem. Take care of it.
Whoa, this is great! So that's where I've been stuck this whole time.
Please return your appendages to the steering mechanism, sir.
Huh? Oh, right. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, you can stop calling me
2 and
sir.
3 are T.
The name's Ratchet.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Interesting.
Sir.
You got a name?
My serial number is V54296.
Oops. I'll just call you Clank for short. Hang on.
Clank is for short.
So you see, it would be most beneficial if your citizens were not in the city when my workers begin.
I've heard the remake is bad, though. At least that's what Ratchet said.
Unfortunately, you have no choice in the matter.
Let's just see what Captain Quark has to say about that, my good man. I don't see what's so funny. Captain Quark could dispatch you without even breaking a sweat, you puny.
You have now officially worn out your welcome and my patience.
This is your last chance. Stop this madness now!
Further is a crash in the dick shooting of Nathan Jake. Oh, is Jack and Daxter Naughty Dog?
I will withdraw my troops.
Really?
No, he's all yours, gentlemen. Try not to leave.
Naughty Dog's one of those companies that has like infinite goodwill with me. I haven't played anything from them that was bad. Oh, right on. Okay. Learning things. So what happened with... They stopped with Crash 3 and then started making Jack and Daxter in lieu of Crash? It's been kind of a problem for Sony because they've never really had a console mascot.
Procure a ship from one of the inhabitants.
Well, they lost their console mascot, basically. Alright. Powers, make sure I understand what I'm doing here. Gadgetron vendor. Whoa.
I got some great bargains for you today.
That looks cool. I can't afford it yet. Keep an eye on it, though. Oh man, that would be awesome. The Crash remake is really gorgeous, like, and it's very true to the original games as well. Hey, I can swim now without it being completely miserable now that the game's running at 60 FPS. Who made the racing game? Swimming is so much better now, wow. I'm glad we didn't try to keep playing this at 10 FPS last time, that would have been really bad. Gex is the console mascot of the future. I still struggle to swim out of the water, though.
Don't hit the X button. Push and hold the X button. to
Thanks, info thing. What's the death penalty in this game? Is it just that it sets you back? If so, that's nice. That 3DO. CTO, or CTR, Andrea really likes that game. It's one of her favorite racers. Just goes back to the checkpoint, that's it. Right on. Oh, cool, that makes sense. Checkpoints aren't generous. Okay. I'm gonna have to get used to this swimming system. It's not what I expect it to be. It's not that bad. Death penalty. No death penalty, and everything in the game gives you cancer. CTR is pretty good, though. Did Naughty Dog make the Jack and Daxter racing game? Oh, interesting. Okay. Square is descend. Press and hold the surface. Yeah, it's like if you're not going to do something that's significantly different than Mario Kart, and you're just going to make a not as good Mario Kart, you probably shouldn't bother, right? Like, that's why I have not ever played Diddy Kong Racing, but I'm aware of what makes it different from the Mario Kart games, right? Because it's more of like an adventure, single-player campaign racing game, lots of different modes of play. These things are cute, so that's why I need to murder them. Let me check, Chaos. You even just procced yourself. It's really stupid. Did it go away just now? I guess I never hit confirm on the page. Chocobo Racing. Chocobo Racing's game's garbage. I've never really played any of those FF spin-off games like Chocobo Mystery Dungeon or Chocobo Racing. Oh, really? Okay. Crash, Ratchet and Clank. Just making new games so there's something else to do. Spyro feels the same way. It just kind of feels like there's something else to do. But Jack and Daxter 1, 2, and 3 have a story arc. That's cool. Mystery Dungeon games as a genre kind of feel... low effort isn't the right word. Just generally mediocre, grindy. It replaces gameplay with grind. What image did they compress? It doesn't have a sexual innuendo as a title. Is it really a Ratchet and Clank game? Like, enemies like these guys very much remind me of Spyro enemies. Oh yeah, I thought he looked kind of poor quality. You couldn't see his whole model. Does this game have a Z target button? Or a button that like centers the camera behind you? Yes. L2. But if you hold it too long, it puts you in first-person view. It's a little slow. Age Your Dreams. I haven't played it. Would you call Etrian Odyssey part of the Mystery Dungeon genre? Or is it different enough? I really wish I could, like, float. That would just be the bee's knees. I know, I'm with you, sir. Different kinds of games, right? Saturday morning cartoon, that's a really good way to phrase it. I used the phrase game for kids earlier and I instantly regretted it, because you can say the same thing about Mario or virtually any Nintendo game. But like Spyro feels like a Saturday morning cartoon in a lot of respects. So I don't really have a double jump, do I? I get a little bit of extra vertical height, but I can't use it to travel further horizontally, right? Like, is there a way for me to explore this room further through jumping? Oh, that's right, because there's more settings once you actually start the game than on the title screen. Thank you. Subtitles on. Stairs to climb out on both sides. Oh, good looking out. I didn't even notice those before. Threus, the bee's knees. Seven Ratchet and Clank games, wow. I still feel like the PS2 is a fairly recent system, but 16 years old, this game. It's like 2002 is probably the first year where all the games that came out will age fine graphically. Well, all 3D games made after 2002 will probably age fine graphically. It depends somewhat on their approach. If they're trying to make it like super photorealistic, it might not look so great. The PS1 not so much.
Look, Plumber's crack.
What did you just say?
I said,
Did they cut
look,
it?
The plumber's back.
All right, wise guy. Shouldn't
Couldn't
you be
actually
on
see
one
his
of them
Plumber's
escape
crack.
transports?
Escape transports.
Newsflash, giant robots.
Yeah, me too,
attacking.
Yukipo.
The escape transports
I don't know
are taking
why,
our
but
rich folks off
basically
this
beginning with the
doggone
PS2, I didn't really
So
play
why aren't you on
platformers.
Socioeconomic disparity.
What?
He hasn't got enough bolts.
Working people have to wait for Captain Quark to save us.
Well, got anything worth a lot of bolts?
I got this thing. Shows two weirdos ditching their ship. It's got coordinates to a desert planet, too.
An infobot. Ratchet, we could use that.
Sure. Did he like have a plumber's crack in the original version of the game and it got censored in the HD collection or
Slide
something?
down a sewer pipe?
Mayday, mayday! This is the solar ship Radical. We seem to be under attack from the planet's surface.
Relax, kid. It looks like some sort of fireworks display. Probably in your honor.
Maybe it's just the art
Close.
writing disconnect.
Right down, I can't concentrate.
But we've been hit!
An unexpected detour. When we land, I'll see if I can scare up an exhibition for you.
We're not gonna live that long!
Kid, let's scream.
Eject! Eject!
Did you see that guy on the left? That was Skid McMarx.
Does he know Captain
Skid
Quark?
marks.
I doubt it. He's a pro hoverboarder. Always going off about how cool he is.
Looks like he's in trouble.
I'll say. I've never seen him look so freaked out.
Gadgetron Infobots give you coordinates for new planets.
Oh, that's
now
cool.
that you have the Infobot for planet Aridia, you'll need to find a ship to get there.
Yeah, I gotta get Andrew to play this. I think this game would be way up her alley.
To enter look-around mode,
Basically more
press
Spyro,
and
but
hold
more
the
polished,
button.
better graphics. Nothing actually back there. Oh, I mean mobile games? Like that they make you... Now, are there a finite number of nuts and bolts in the game, like there are a finite number of gems in Spyro? Or no? Yeah, I went this way first last time. Oh, this game's impressively not linear, too. Okay, so there's not a... just a currency. Are there a currency as well as a collectible in Spyro? Kinda, sort of? So there's probably like a most efficient place in the game to farm for bolts, right? Gotta have platinum. Okay, my jumping attack does 2 damage. That or my thrown wrench does half a damage. Or calcum bolts, right? Vibranium adamantium alloy bolts. Right. What's my favorite fictional metal? Marvel gets pretty stupid with it. 7 different kinds. Oh, enemies can damage each other. That's cool. Alright, let me go back and... I do have bombs. But I need to save them in case the final boss needs me to use 40 bombs on them. Thank God, I'm back to 40.
I got some quick bargains for you today.
Yeah, I see what you mean. He only takes up like the bottom third of that monitor.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Voice actor sounds familiar. Are the gadget weapons like part of the fun of the Ratchet and Clank series? I didn't realize they were like a thing with a capital T. Super rude. Oh, okay. It's a really good way for Ratchet to be like, hey, you should use your weapons. I was gonna try it once I got this thing anyway. That's fun. I can use it while moving, which is the main advantage for me right now. Looks like they restock you pretty regularly, too. That's pretty fun. Are there a lot of gadgets that make it across all of the entries in the series, or they tend to do new ones each time? Oh, it's smart loot? That's good. Appreciate that in games. That's pretty neat. Sorry, do I want this reversed too? Feels weird. Oh, that's more natural. Okay. Sure, it's like your brain automatically adjusts for it pretty quickly, but switch it back. Jerk. Hey, this guy.
Don't hurt me. Oh, what are you? Mercenaries? Torturers? Assassins? I'll tell you anything. Here, take my Infobot. It's all I've got left.
Sir, we're not assassins.
Hold on. Let's see what he's got.
Captain Quirk.
Has this ever happened to you? Hi, I'm Captain Quark, and believe me, there's nothing worse than staring down a Blargian snagglebeast from the inside and knowing your equipment isn't functioning properly. That's why I come to Al's Robo Shack for all my electronic needs. Al has been the exclusive repair shop for my super electro gadgets since I was knee-high to a sand mouse.
Jim Ward, yeah.
Fix it. It's not broke. Right, Al? You said it, pal. So if you're fighting crime, or just fighting grime, come to Al's Robo Shack in Metropolis for all your robotic repairs. Al's Robo Shack. It's Quarktastic.
Do you know what this means?
Yeah, Captain Quark is really sold out.
No, it means Captain Quark is on Metropolis. We could tell him about this invasion.
If we had a ship.
What? A ship? What? You're not going to torture me? Well, as planetary chairman, I could arrange for you to borrow our courier ship.
Cool.
You can count on us, sir.
Right. Thank you, your chairman shipliness.
Now that you have coordinates to 2 new planets, you can use your ships. Press the select button to bring to the map. Your ship is marked with a star.
Okie dokie. Oh, map's actually pretty nice. Pops up with no hassle. This game feels very light on the hassle. I appreciate that. This is around the era when games started to feel like they really needed to interrupt the flow of gameplay. It was especially a Nintendo problem around this time. I appreciate their dedication to not doing that. I feel like that's something when you're reviewing a game that should be a distinct like category, like how responsive and non-interruptive is the UI of the game. These are Lombax. Woot. Right on. I guess that'll matter once I get more than one weapon. Cool. Let's go to Kerwan. How much does the game respect the player's time? It's an interesting way to phrase it. Looks like a game like Skyward Sword would get an F in that category, even though that game's very good. I was wondering if this was going to be like a non-combat zone.
Hi there, Fuzzball.
Last year, 2,500.
Welcome to the Captain Quark fitness course. If you're strong enough, fast enough, and clever enough to beat my fitness challenge, you will receive a reward from my head trainer. Simply make your way to the 3rd island to complete the course. Good luck. Quark Enterprises is not responsible for sprains, broken bones, snapped tendons, bruised egos, or accidental death incurred while taking the challenge.
Excuse me, Captain, but we have more pressing issues. We urgently need your assistance.
That's not the real Captain Quark, Clank.
Do you notice anything unusual about Captain Quark?
Well, I find the fact that he has a spring where his leg should be to be quite puzzling.
And why do you think that is?
Possibly an injury incurred while battling evil?
This isn't the real Captain Quark, you numbskull. It's a robot.
Oh.
Or Clank. That's a neat way to teach you about wall jumping if you had never done it before. Use camera clues. Alright, well, you know, the rule that's been established in every other video game ever that red barrels explode remains true in this one. Maybe I won't stand next to them next time and take damage. Against intentional death. Whoa, that's cool. Until Breath of the Wild, yeah. Breath of the Wild's basically perfect. Okay, Good to know. Oh, they're both good games, but the intro is still super long. Part of it might be that it's the PS3 remaster. I would have had like 2 frames per second here if we were still playing this on the PS2 version. Yeah, Twilight Princess.
Also functions jump slots. Jump and jump again to kick off the walls in midair.
Oh, that's cute.
Until you reach the top.
The fishing stuff, like I think Twilight Princess is one of the best games ever that has the worst opening. It's so slow. I remember I bought a Wii on launch day and Twilight Princess, and I took a week off of work to play it a bunch, and I spent a good 3 or 4 hours on launch day just trying to get the waggle to work to catch a fish. And you couldn't go online to figure out how the hell does the waggle work to catch this fish because it had just come out. I eventually solved it when someone was live posting about this new issue that people just discovered.
Listen up, you loudballs! That was the most pathetic display.
I like the concept of Majora's Mask.
What do you mean?
We finished the circuit, ma'am.
Oh yeah, but it is weak. Weak! When I was competing, I would devour courses like that for breakfast.
Bet that's not all.
If it were up to me, you would drill for the rest of the day. But somehow you managed to impress that fool Captain Quark.
Captain Quark knows about us?
He certainly does. And worst of all, he wants me to give you a prize for that ridiculous performance.
Cool, what is it?
I'm supposed to give you a swing shot, so you can
Swingshot?
sway to and fro like little insects.
It's a cool gadget
let's
name.
see. Not so fast. Today, the two of you disgraced my obstacle course, so I am going to make you pay.
But that prize is ours from the captain.
This game has really good
That's not
like character
fair.
animations, especially for
Too bad. Life's
2002.
not fair.
Oh, that'd be awesome, Yukupo.
Sweet. I bet Captain Quark uses stuff like this all the time.
Right.
Real men can swing without silly toys like that. The two of you make me sick.
Congratulations on your new Gadgetron Swingshot. Use it on standard basic targets like the ones nearby. If the target is out of view, use the L1 button to aim.
We're talking about these things, right? Is there a... Oh, it's a... Okay. And it doesn't have any ammo associated with it, I assume. Right on. So it's got progression unlocks, also kind of like Spyro. Whee! That's fun. Oh, I can collect ammo for weapons I don't currently have equipped. I didn't gather that when you were mentioning earlier. That's cool. But they're in the same slots as my weapon gadgets, right? Yeah, that's neat. I enjoy progression unlocks. I don't know what it is about it.
Quickly center the camera. Just tap the L1 button.
Thanks. Alright, so now's the time if I'm going to use... Oops. A quick swap upgrade, I'll do it now. It's a button that I can customize? How does that work? I guess I just do this. Whee! Woo. Nice. Reorder them. I see what you're saying. Okay. ID. I don't have a gadget to reach that thing yet. Unless if there, it would be cool if there are certain enemies that you're expected to use different gadgets on to even be able to damage at all. At first I was thinking that the gadgets were just kind of a stylistic, oh this is better than swinging the wrench. So that's kind of neat if you need them for certain bosses. Then again, you have to buy them, so maybe they find ways to gate you. I don't think I can get it with the bomb glove. I feel like they should have me unlock the bomb glove and start with the flamethrower.
Ratchet, that's the man we saw on the Infobot. Remember?
Hey, it's J-Kun.
Hey, you're that robot guy, right?
No, actually, I build robots. I myself am not a robot guy, per se.
Nerd.
When did this game come out relative to
So, now that
Psychonauts?
we've cleared that up, what can I do
When
for
did
you?
Psychonauts come
We
out?
saw your Infobot announcement. You were with Captain Quark. We're trying to find Captain Quark. We thought you could help us.
Your logic is commendable. However, I haven't seen Captain Quark since we shot that commercial. Say, do you run on standard XP18 sister boards?
Version 7.66.
Back at ya.
Sister
I may be
boards.
able to help you out after all. How does a Helipack upgrade sound?
That sounds fantastic.
Since he's a 766, I could have the little guy up and flying in no time. Of course, I'll just need my fee for service.
I really like the animations in Psychonauts, and this game feels on par with that, if not a little bit better in some respects. I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that Psychonauts has had budget problems.
Hey, wait. Ratchet, am I cool now?
Yeah, you the man, Clank.
You're welcome.
Cool. Yay, I was hoping I would get enough. Though it felt conspicuous that I didn't have some kind of hover ability.
Try using the Helipack's boost jump feature to climb these boxes.
Oh, and there's a
Press
boost
the R1
jump.
button to crouch, then jump.
Ah, that's neat.
You'll need your new Helipack stretch jump feature to cross this gap. While you're running, crouch using the
Hey!
R1 button and then jump.
It's a Mario long jump, gotcha.
Try using the Helipack's boost jump feature to climb these boxes. Press the R1 button
That's
to
fun.
crouch, then jump. You'll need your new Helipack stretch jump feature to cross this gap. While you're running,
Wahoo!
crouch using the R1 button and then jump. Try using the glide feature of your new Helipack. Jump, and then press and hold the X button in mid-air to glide.
Right. Does the speedrun usually use the long jump for locomotion? Is it faster? I'm not sure what the most efficient form of locomotion is in the Mario 64 speedruns anymore. Is it just long jump spamming? I think it's mostly just movement tech. That's cool. How long is a speedrun for this game? Come on. There's a bit of a spin-up time on this thing that can get me in trouble if I'm not careful. Backwards long jumps. Womp womp. Oh wow, yeah, I see what you mean about the checkpoints not being terribly forgiving. Alright. But it said I get to keep all of my, I get to keep all my nuts that I got when it sends me back. That's nice. 32 minutes for any percent. 20 minutes for new game plus any percent. Wow. Is there 100%? I wonder if that's dependent on glitches or the game's actually that short if you're just moving through it as quickly as you can. Later, dude. Keeping your nuts is nice. 59. Wow. That's crazy. Seems like I'd be a good candidate for it. You play the PS2 version? Oh, it's super dependent on glitches and shit. See with your minds, dude. You can't trick me. Yeah, I don't like wrong warp style glitches. Glitches in general don't bother me too much, but if it's like bypassing huge parts of the level by going out of bounds and stuff bums me out in a lot of games. I see. Lots of out of bounds tricks. It depends on the game, it depends on the nature of the tricks, like the way you input them, but like an example, Ocarina of Time I think is awful, and the Undertale run is pretty awful, although it was fun to watch once, because the guy who was running it at GDQ was really charismatic. Do the shortcuts in reverse. There's somewhere where I can jump up on this, let's see. Oh, that's cool. Stretch it. This wrench almost looks like an axe. Wrong warp just feels boring to me, I don't know. Especially in Ocarina of Time, it's like you skip the whole game. It sounds like nobody really does that as a category anymore because it was so thoroughly optimized. There wasn't a lot of room for hype. I like to watch a glitch run once. Like, it's interesting sometimes to be like, okay, if you really push this game's engine to its limits and abuse as many bugs as you can, what's technically possible? But it's not something that I'd want to watch over and over and over. You have a different category of glitch that's like, not really a glitch, but the, oh, is that like a temporary upgrade that I just missed, that Infobot? Or is it just trying to draw my attention to it and it flew somewhere else and I can get it later in the level? There's a thing where you can skip Ceaseless Discharge in Dark Souls 1 by very precisely rolling over the lava, and it saves like a minute or something, so it's really worth doing. But if you fail, you basically lost your entire run. So it's not really a glitch, it's just a really, really precise set of inputs. But it's frustrating because it's so late in the run and it's so easy to screw up. It's a lot of wrong warps other than skip to Ganon escape. What's Ocarina of Time bingo? I suppose that's true as well, depending on how much savings it is.
Dispense with the pleasantries, Lieutenant. My sources tell me you're behind schedule. You must prepare this planet.
Hit them from a distance by pressing R1 and throwing my wrench at them.
As you can see, everything is moving along as planned.
I'm counting on you, Lieutenant. And as your former commander can tell you, I don't take disappointment well.
Yes, sir. I won't fail.
Drek is destroying yet another planet.
Yeah, but if that's the kind of help he's getting, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
You should not underestimate Chairman Drek. He is quite dangerous. We must find Captain Quark.
Oh, they work like
Doesn't
crash
seem so tough.
boxes? Okay.
Let's take him out ourselves.
Perhaps we can persuade the lieutenant to tell us where Drek is.
That's funny, Spiky.
Talking.
They're really looking for ways to add more value to that speedrun. I guess kind of like the Link to the Past randomizer. Oh, nice. Put me right back at the start. Fantastic. And I have a shortcut to get back to the robot shack. It's all very nice. I appreciate that.
I got some great bargains for you today.
Now, does this merchant, once I've unlocked the blaster as a purchase option, will he now have it at every other instance of him, or only in this zone? Show column diagonals roughly equal. That's really cool. They share inventory. Okay, thank you. Fantastic. Let's go to Aridia. Skid marks and Skid's agents. Playing Ratchet and Clank for about another 8 minutes, and I'm going to take a 25-minute or so break to get set up for Dungeons and Dragons. My level of chat interaction was going to be lower than usual for D&D, just because I've got so much I'm trying to pay attention to when I'm DMing. But I think Lisa, Matt, and Dursey are going to have chat up and probably interact with y'all. See if I can make a command linking to the house rules document if anyone wants to read it. But I should be explaining all of it. That's McMarx technically, but that's the joke they're trying to make. Hey.
It's him, Skid McMarx.
That man from the Infobot.
In the flesh, little dude.
Yeah, that's what I mean, sir. I don't like when most of the game gets skipped.
We saw you screaming for help.
That was like a war cry. My agent and I got ambushed on the way to hoverboard practice.
Did he survive the crash, sir?
He's okay, but I've had a little trouble getting back to my ship due to my sprained ankle.
Oh, come on.
If you can take out all the sand sharks, I just might have a spare hoverboard for you.
We'd love to help you,
sounds
Mr.
cool.
McMarx, but Ratchet and I need to find Captain...
One of your boards? I've always wanted a decent hoverboard. Well,
Oh, it's a board, all right. An ironing board.
elevated.
Yeah, I guess, like, a wrong warp speedrun might not bother me very much in a game like, I don't know, Final Fantasy IV, where it's basically skipping random battles. Because that content gets pretty stale, but a game like Hollow Knight, like, it's got so much unique content and level design and enemies to deal with. There's very little repetitive content like that. So you're skipping unique, interesting content. That kind of bumps me out. Or especially when it will skip story. Like, not cutscenes, obviously. You should always be able to skip cutscenes, but... like, sequence break, I don't like. I think that's what I don't like about the Ocarina of Time wrong warp to Ganon. Yep. I'll actually probably open up 2 because uplink is super short, so there's a chance we'll beat it in a single stream, and I'd like to have another game to swap to. Usually my rule is if a game wins and it's 10 hours or shorter, we're going to instantly call the next winner. I just didn't do that with uplink. It's going to be a while until we play it. I like this game so far, though. It's good. I'm excited to play the rest of the Ratchet and Clank series. And Jak and Daxter and Sly. They somehow managed, like, Yukipo I just stopped playing non-Nintendo platformers. I played all the Mario games, but for whatever reason, maybe it was a fatigue thing. Let's see if maybe I have to get to this center island. Yeah. I'm trying to think, how old was I? Let's see. 2002, I was a freshman in high school. Is that true? Sophomore. Playing a lot of JRPGs. It was probably because I didn't have money. So it was oh right, yeah, that was definitely the window where I most focused on games for their playtime. So if you told me a game was 12 hours long, I'd be like, what? That's not worth $60. I want a game that's 100 hours long. And now I feel basically the opposite. Okay, it must be on the top of that center platform, that's my only guess. Oh wait, here's one. There's 2 more of them and 2 more of the little plant guys. Yeah, it's been mitigated now, Kevin, by the fact that you can get games so cheap, right? But there was a really long time where your only way to get a game for $5 or $10 was to buy it used, which I still feel kind of icky doing. I like giving money to the developer. And sales have made that a lot easier. Here we go. Yeah, a lot of really bad RPGs for the PS1 and PS2. I think the Super Nintendo still has the best ratio of quantity to quality RPGs. That's when I started to feel the oversaturation. Was around the PS1. Hey, give me that hoverboard.
Here, man. Catch.
A brand new Z3000. You can't even buy these.
Well, I got a bail. Catch you dudes at the hoverboard races.
You've just acquired
I'll have to check that out, sir.
Z3000 hoverboard. Use your new hoverboard at the racetrack in Blackwell City on Planet Rill.
Okay, so it's something I use in a specific place. Gotcha, that's cool. Star Ocean, sorry, I get confused about a lot of the JRPGs that I haven't played before. Oh, interesting, there's a golden bolt back there. Star Ocean's the kind of sci-fi fantasy one with alien spaceships crashing and ancient technology and shit. And what's Lunar? Is Lunar also sci-fi fantasy? Shows up under items instead of gadgets. Let's see. Ah, which is a list of unlocks that work in a specific place only, but I can't just activate whenever I feel like it, I assume. Star Ocean sci-fi Lunar. Okay. Can this game save on a whim? I'm just trying to keep track, or does it just auto-save basically?
Hi there, Fuzzball.
Hi there. Let's try the blaster. Which one? What is Valkyrie Profile? One of those V games that I can never keep track of. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's really cool, actually. I like the lock-on feature, that's nice. Side-scrolling, vaguely Norse JRPG. I never tell if a game that has Valkyrie in its title is going to be Norse at all, right? So, manual saving. Where do I do that? On my ship, maybe? Am I basically set now if I wanted to call it here? Just basically turn the game off? There's not a return to title. Oh, options. Thank you. Good looking out. Sweet. Thanks, everybody. I'll give you an update on what's coming up for the rest of the week. If you would please be so kind, if you're interested in hanging out for Dungeons & Dragons, I think it will be fun. That will start in about 25 minutes at 5:30 Pacific.